Hello, everyone. My name is Sierra Clark, and I'm going to be your presenter today. We are going to talk about best practices and trends for technology integration within the educational system. When we think about the purpose and the takeaways from today's presentation, we want to think about how we can effectively use technology to enhance students' learning experience. Not necessarily how can we give students technology and just have them use it to access different resources, but how can we use technology effectively so that they gain meaning from their uses with the technology. So when they have interactions with others or they have interactions with the technology, the resources that we're putting them on, the different websites or the different types of technology that we expose our students to, how that is effective for them and how that can enhance their learning experience. We also are going to take a look at how technology can be used to communicate with various stakeholders and how we can create more engagement with others in the community, in our school settings, using technology. Our presentation focus today, we're going to talk about how to create change within an organization, recognizing true technology integration, providing outreach to the community using technology resources, increasing information to and the involvement of families, funding opportunities available to schools and school districts for integration of technology, and finally, budgeting and funding considerations for technology integration at an organization of learning. To start, we have 5 reasons to integrate technology into the classroom. Why technology? Why is it so critical or crucial to integrate it into the classroom? Number 1 is that integrating technology in the classroom can show increased student engagement and development of active learners as they are using the technology to actively engage themselves in their education rather than being told to do something or having their quote-unquote hand held through the education process. Integration of technology can also promote individual student learning and growth. It encourages collaboration among peers in ways that we are not used to. So students are able to not only communicate and talk with one another, but they're also able to collaborate on various technological platforms. Development of student readiness for real world. Part of becoming a 21st century learner is understanding how to use technology in the real world. And in a world where technology is ever growing, it is essential that we help students develop those skills and prepare them to use technology effectively in the real world. And finally, it produces successfully engaged teachers. Not only are we working to promote 21st century learners, but we also want to promote 21st century teachers. We want to find ways to engage educators through various resources or different educational platforms that they feel more comfortable with the technology and they're able to express that when they're teaching it as well. Creating change in organization. So it starts with open communication and collaboration between all of the stakeholders in the educational setting. Administration, teachers, parents, and students alike all have an equal part in the educational process. And without one of those pieces, the education process doesn't work. Without an effective administration team, essential office staff, it makes it difficult for teachers to understand where to get their direction from. Without effective teachers, it makes the learning process difficult for students. Without supportive parents, students have a difficult time being successful in the educational program. And finally, with students, without the students, education wouldn't even be a thing. It wouldn't be necessary. Ability to remain open to new ideas and practices, as well as having the ability to adapt and apply changes, is crucial when trying to work in integrating technology and creating change in the organizations. In order to effectively have change and to see change work, you have to be open and willing and accepting of the change. So that's a crucial mindset for all stakeholders to have. And finally, it's important to have professional development opportunities and discussions for best practices among administration and teachers and all of those who are involved in the school setting, so that proper training can be given and we understand as educators the best practices for integrating a particular technological resource. Recognizing true technology and true technology integration. So starting with, what is true technology integration? It's embracing technology as an active method to support learning, access to knowledge, and developing conceptual styles of thinking. So rather than giving students a computer or a laptop or a technology resource and telling them to just use it, or presenting information using a smart board or a projector as your integration of technology, but having students use the technology to engage them in their learning, to provide them with learning experiences that help them to make the connections between what you've taught them and then how they can then go back and use them with technology. True technology integration is routine and transparent. It is accessible and available to the task at hand, and it supports students and their curricular goals. Providing outreach to community using technology resources. It's important that in the educational system that we make communication available to all stakeholders, and technology is a great way to assist with that. Creating and providing stakeholders with access to district and school websites for them to get information or current events. Social media platforms such as a Facebook page or even a Twitter page are great. Social media, as we all know, is ever growing. It's becoming an inevitable. So school districts can capitalize on that and use those as opportunities to reach out to the community and to the families. Robocalls from schools and district administration. Open Q&A sessions with the community, whether it be at the school level or the school board level. Email communication and district-wide and school-wide text alerts, as well as engagement sessions with the students. These are all great opportunities and wonderful platforms for the community to stay in constant communication and stay up to date with what is happening in the school system with using technology. When we think about family communication, how can we increase the information and involvement of families? So using applications such as Remind or Class Dojo to communicate information within the classroom and encourage engagement from parents and students at the class level. Those are things that teachers can do, and ways for parents to stay up to date with information going on directly from the class level. Using social media platforms to communicate school-wide information with families on a larger scale. This promotes engagement from all families as well as encourages community connection between families. Newsletters from schools to communicate information to families, and the use of electronic surveys to collect data and feedback from families and communities. Funding opportunities that are available to schools and districts for integrating technology. There are various grant opportunities from community businesses within a local district, community partnerships and donations to school districts, as well as technology grants offered through the school division to teachers are a great way to have funding opportunities available to increase the use of the technology. And lastly, budget considerations. So budgeting and funding considerations for technology integration at an organization of learning. You want to consider the cost to train the teachers to use the technology that you plan to integrate effectively. The cost of professional development. You want to make sure that there is enough professional development opportunity to train the teachers or people in the educational system to how to use the technology effectively. You want to factor in the cost of new programs and the cost of necessary devices and software in order to push out and promote the technology. When you're considering all of these things, you want to consider accepting funds or donations or sponsorships from the community partners to support your learning. Thank you all for attending today's training, and I hope that this gave some more insight on how we can effectively engage with each other using technology and how some things to consider when we think about using technology more into the educational system. Thank you.